Hi there. My name is John Stevens, pastor of Zion Lutheran Church in Oregon City, Oregon, and we are part of the ELCA. And welcome to Dollar Store Children's Sermons, where we take a look at the lectionary text, tie into an item from the Dollar Tree or the junk drawer or the kids' room or the garage. You know how we've been doing it. Thank you so much for spending a little bit of your week with me in this way, and thank you for the love that you're sharing with your kids and your congregations and your families. You are rocking it. Thank you so much, and thank you for your partnership in this ministry. Thank you for all of you who have donated in one way or the other in the last couple of weeks. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. And we're moving on. This is Narrative Lectionary. We're still in Daniel. It's the second week of Daniel, and holy moly. So last week I talked about we worship only God. And it was funny. It was an interesting thing. There was this kind of a springboard where I was like, this is where it feels like, because they worshiped, they fell down and they worshiped. And I was like, this idea about only worshiping God. And then I get to this week's and I'm like, whoa. It's like the connection, because we've got the fiery furnace. We've got God protecting Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. I'm not going to go back to the text, but and now I've got Veggie Tales running through my head, but that's all right. So we've got God protecting, and we've got because they refuse to worship anybody other than God. It's like, no, they're three faithful Jews, and they're like, we only worship God alone. Oh yeah, get thrown in the fiery furnace. And they are protected by God. What an amazing story! It's one of those stories that you're like, yeah, this you could just read the story and go, that'll preach. But God protecting, and now there is a line in this text that just caught my imagination, and I'm like, we got to do something with that. And it is that not only were they protected from the fiery furnace, but there wasn't even the smell of fire on them. Whoa. If you have ever sat around a campfire, if you've ever gotten close to a campfire, if you've ever walked 20 feet away from a campfire and the campfire was blowing and the smoke found you, you'd be like, you smell it. You walk in and you go, and someone goes, you've been near a campfire. Well, I was about 20 yards away from a campfire. Yeah, but you were close to a campfire. We know how that how that smoke just clings to the clothes and all of that. And so to hear that they didn't even smell like smoke. Whoa. Can you imagine how protected they were? That God wraps them in God's protection and God's grace. And about that story, I mean, it is a fantastic story. And again, it gets drawn back to that line. The line of really what we're looking at Daniel is worship God only. That we are called to worship God only. We're called to only worship God, or worship God only, the one and only God, things like that. If you have not bothered to look up Jonathan Rudman's This Little Bible, or Little Bible, I always want to say This Little Bible, but Little Bible, and it is this bluegrass ditty of a song that I love, and it is Lutheran to its core. We drive on the road and not on the map. We look to the light and not to the lamp. This idea that we worship who God is about. Someone was at the door in my brain. My squirrels went off there. I could edit that. Let me just repeat and put that in the proper order. We worship who the Bible is about. We worship the God that the Bible is about. We do not worship the Bible. And it's again a good teaching point where when we lift up our holy scriptures, the scriptures are a wonderful, inspired teaching tool that lifts up the God that we worship. It's a small little, and I don't know how much you want to pull on this with the kids sermon. It's a great teaching for you get into grade school and a little higher. But back to the this little Bible, we worship God only, and about in this story about the connection point, or the object, if you will, is how that they didn't even smell like the fire. And one of the possible ways is you could possibly bring a piece of clothing that has baby powder on it. Maybe someone has a baby and you can smell the top of their head. I'm thinking of those smells that really, like, we go, oh, fresh baked bread. Bake bread in a bread machine and have it to where it's baking throughout the worship service, so that you can start to smell it. And then about how, like, could you imagine if you were in that area and how you would smell like bread? But God's protecting us so much. God's protecting God's faithful followers in the story of Daniel, and that not even the smell of the smoke gets on them. Wow. All right, that's the springboard there. Still working it, but again, it's a way to drive the story and how much God is protecting God's faithful followers in the Daniel story, and where that leads. So, all right, thank you so much for the love that you're sharing with your kids and your congregations and your families. Thank you for the partnership in this ministry. Thank you for who you are and the love that you are sharing with the world, because, my friend, you are rocking it. All right, peace. We'll see you next week.